Hey, good morning, Mayor Leriger. How are you this morning?
I'm well, Erica. How are you?
I'm good. So thank you very much for joining me. For those that don't know, Ralph is the mayor of the town of Westlock. He's lived in the area for a long time, has a huge history. We could probably do a video just on the history of the area, I'm sure. But Ralph is probably, sorry everyone out there, Ralph's probably one of my favorite mayors in the province of Alberta, and I miss the conferences because I miss having a very tall glass of wine on the lawyer's dime with you.
Well, and that networking is just the best part of every conference.
Isn't it?
And we're all missing it big time. I said to Murta's the other day, oh my gosh, I miss those conferences and how much fun. We've had so much fun with you and Corey over the years. We had some real good times, and they're really great for building those friendships and alliances and folks you can count on when you need some advice.
Yeah, people that you can pick up the phone and ask a question to, or have a video interview like this, right?
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't have a specific topic that I want to chat with you about today. I thought we would just have a general conversation. It is an election year. I won't put you on the spot in that regard. But let's talk a little bit about what advice you might give to somebody considering municipal politics.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's all kinds of advice, and there's all kinds of good written material. I'm now coming to the end of my second term, and I haven't made up my mind yet, to be honest, whether I'll go again. I think I'd like to. Governing through COVID has been very challenging. You know, people's expectations of what a mayor's jurisdiction is can sometimes get a little out of whack. You know, I mean, the system itself, anybody entering into municipal politics needs to understand that it's named the weak mayor system for a reason. It's, you know, what an inspiring name that is. You know, so you're really, you know, the mayor or the councillors are all 1 vote in 5 or 1 vote in 7, depending on the size of their council. And they really, their only ability to change things in their community lies in their ability to inspire their community with a vision for the future. That's how you get things done. So anyone who wants to go into municipal politics needs to go in with both eyes wide open. It's, you know, if you have an agenda, not a good thing to do. If you want to tell the grader or the sanding trucks when to get out, not so much. That's not your world, you know. But if you have a vision for your community for the future, then we need to talk a little bit more. So in Westlock, what we've done over 2 terms, and I really like it. I know you did a video with our CAO with Simone. I think very, very highly of Simone. She's done a great job for us. And we talk about that separation between council and administration and what that looks like. If you take it literally from the Municipal Government Act, it can be not very liberating at all. It can create that you know, angst between council and administration. Simone said something to me one time, Erica, I think you'll really like this. She said the wall between administration and council exists in Westlock, but our wall is transparent and we can see each other through it and we can hear each other through it. And I thought, wow.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And I think it you know what, our advice to municipalities, and we go in often where they want us to reinvigorate the orientation and help council understand their role versus administration, is that while the Municipal Government Act definitely defines it, it's also a lot about the relationship between council and administration, and that relationship has ebbs and flows and changes. And so I think that there has to be some flexibility to allow a little bit of overlap. And I think as long as there's understanding and agreement amongst council and administration on where those lines are and everyone respects it, then it should be up to the two parties and the relationship to set that line. And I know there's some administrations that have nightmare councils and that line needs to go one way. And then there's some where the councils are a little bit more collaborative and they're a little bit more giving, and we should harness that and take advantage of that. And then the line can go a little bit the other way. But
yeah, I mean, it's really important to know your role. There's no doubt about there, but what we've really worked hard, to me, there's only one way to succeed in this or any business, no matter what the business is, whether it's the business of running a municipality or an actual business. There's only one way to do it, and that's by creating a positive organizational culture. It's all about organizational culture.
yeah,
And many of us have worked, in our other careers, and you've seen examples of great org culture and real poor, and you can see what that does to the organization.
mm-hmm.
So, we've worked real hard at strategic planning, at asset management, data-driven decisions, all of those things, to try and ensure that all the employees feel valued.
Yeah.
We council only has one employee, but we certainly want to let our CAO know this is the kind of organization we're asking you to build for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's that open, honest forum. It's that transparency, right? It's unfortunately, that's not always the norm. And we've seen lots of municipalities, whether it's through inspections or through investigations, or it takes a long time for a municipality or any organization that has leadership that is broken or that's not trusted. It takes a long time to come back from that. We've seen municipalities where it's taken, 2 or 3 terms where councils have changed to get that positive culture back. And so certainly I know that you've worked really hard in Westlock, and not just in the town, but in the region, to create a positive culture and to create positive relationships. And
well, it's supposed to be fun. If Ralph Leriger isn't having any fun, I'm going to go find something else to do. It's got to be, is there a hard, it's really hard, but that makes it fun. So,
yeah.
So it's all about the relationship between the mayor and the CAO, and then transferring that and trying to inspire. You're the elected officials are the leaders of the community. Your CAO is the leaders of the organization, and trying to, if you have a plan that you can stick to, and a direction that you can all pull the same way, then it makes it a heck of a lot easier as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about something a little bit more contentious, because I know you like to have fun. And I know people are going to want to hear the real Ralph thoughts on certain things. They're not going to want to hear a whole bunch of
oh no. My soapbox? I'm going to get on a soapbox.
So let's talk COVID for a few minutes, and let's talk about how some councils and councillors, and we've even seen now some investigations on breaking code of conduct and that around COVID and around the protocols and the restrictions. And so what do you think, or what have you been asked or challenged from your constituents to do when it comes to COVID restrictions? What are your thoughts on council's role in that?
Wow. Okay, so I'll try and take that up a few thousand feet. I'll take it up a few thousand feet and start at, let's remember what the feds do, what the province does, what the municipality does.
Yeah.
The feds are that national defense, immigration, all of the national transportation. The province essentially health, education,
yeah,
highways. you know, whereas the municipality starts looking after you from the moment you get up till the moment you go to bed. Now, health and decisions around that aren't typically in our purview.
No.
I've tried real hard over my 2 terms to stay in our lane.
Yeah.
I think it's disrespectful to taxpayers to have different levels of government all doing the same thing. I've never been the guy that's going to ban the big gulp because it's bad for you in your, you know, if the province in their wisdom with healthcare wants to do that, knock yourself out. We'll stick with roads, sewers, sidewalks, rec centers, you know. Now this is a little different. And so I feel it's really important that to remember when you're an elected official, you represent everybody. You're representing your entire community, and you may not agree with everyone, but everybody needs a voice and everybody needs an advocate and someone to listen to their concerns. And, you know, at the end of the day, our council does what they think is right, but we're representing, and this issue has created some very divided and divisive opinions. I believe in part that's been encouraged by the messaging from both levels of government above us, from the province and the feds. I think they could have been far more consistent in their messaging. You know, so it's been a real challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, and in a province, for instance, let's talk about the masking bylaws. So early on, you know, very, very difference in numbers of cases from community to community. Some rural areas we're seeing very, very little, whereas the urban centers were getting hit a lot harder. My community is an easy commute from Edmonton. We got 300-400 people going from Westlock to Edmonton every day for work, and we got that many coming here for work in our healthcare centers. So our decision making had to kind of align with what was going on in the Edmonton zone, not necessarily the North zone, because of the virality of this disease.
Yeah, absolutely. So do you think that that's going to become an election subject? How Westlock handled mask bylaws, rec center closings, those types of things?
Oh, I think it could. Sure. I mean, we've got some people, quite frankly, right now coming completely unhinged.
Yeah.
But that's understandable. It's been a long haul. We had our 7th grandchild born on the 4th of March a year ago.
Right.
1 year ago. And so he's walking, talking, and has 5 teeth, and he doesn't know his papa because I think I've held him 3 times. It's hard.
That is really hard.
Yeah, it's been hard for everybody. And I think we've all suffered from being cooped up. I've been married for 42 years. 42 years of wooded bliss.
Congrats.
We could both stand to see some other people. You know.
Yeah, when your wife says, I think we should see other people, it doesn't necessarily mean.
You know, so, and the rec centers are a big thing. The province has surprised us each and every time when they change their, hey, guess what? As of tomorrow morning, you can be open. And then the people start phoning, why aren't you open?
Yeah. It's like, well, we closed the ice plant down because it costs a fortune to keep it open, and to keep it open for what, right?
Yeah. And we laid off all our staff. They're currently not working for us,
Yeah.
But in the province's defense, then, had they given municipalities the heads up, there's no chance in the world that they would have kept that to themselves.
No, that's true.
So
That's true.
they couldn't say, but to me, when I was elected, I naively thought that there would be meaningful conversation between the varying levels of government. And my observation after 8 years is that just has not happened near to the extent that it needs to.
Well, and we're seeing this new, I don't know if you want to call it a phenomenon, or where you've actually got municipal councils writing letters to ask MLAs to step down. That's a very
Well,
new
that's
phenomenon.
interesting.
We don't need to get down that path because I don't think either one of us want to.
No, but you do have to ask yourself the question, just how broken does the system have to be when your local elected officials that you get to hold to accountability when you see them at the post office and the grocery stores will not speak up about an issue because they fear retaliation from their own government?
Yeah.
How broken does that system have to be? And that's not a criticism leveled at the UCP. That's been every successive government in my lifetime. In the old days, it was good old-fashioned cronyism that got you what you need. But the paternalistic relationship between the province and the municipalities needs to stop. It's it's gamesmanship and it's counterproductive.
Yeah.
If ever there was an issue that required a bipartisan approach, it would have been COVID-19. And I'm very disappointed in all of our provincial leaders that none of them will take the high road. It's this game of, well, they started it. I'm not interested in that. Hyperpartisanship is ruining our province. It's ruining our country. We deserve better than that. I'm looking for, in the municipal world, we elect problem solvers. And it's not about partisanship.
Yeah, I agree with you completely, Ralph. This is the one time in our life when there should have been more collaboration and cooperation to come to solutions and move the province forward and get us through this. Yeah, 100%. Okay, let's leave COVID behind, because I'm really hoping that we get to leave COVID behind, and I'm also secretly hoping you run again so we can hang out at some conferences in the next few years. If not, you'll have to come just as one of the other councillors' dates.
Well, maybe I'll enter into the consulting world. Isn't everybody else?
You know, there's always a seat here with you if you want. We could have a lot of fun.
Yes, absolutely.
Although I might have to, speaking of restrictions on what people can say.
Oh yeah, no. I need a close rein. My council and administration. Simone keeps a close eye on me.
I'm sure. But you know what, Ralph, you've always, I think, social media can attest to the fact that you have always said your truth. And I think that's one thing that is admirable, and one thing that we should see more of out of elected officials is speak your truth, and without fear of repercussions, whether it's speaking out against a provincial policy or a provincial elected official or a local or regional or whatever that is. I think we've all come to expect and admire your ability to say the truth no matter what.
Well, I think people respond to that. I've always assumed that if you ask for my opinion, that you actually wanted to hear it. So I give it, and I think people respond to that. I've certainly tried. Don't pretend to be something you're not. No. If you don't like it, don't look, because I can't do much about it. You are who you are, but that's served me well throughout my career. I did a lot of public consultation in my career outside of municipal politics, and I think it prepared me well for this. I enjoy it a great deal, Eric. Yeah. It's been, for the most part, a lot of fun, and we've produced some real good results, and
absolutely,
that's the satisfying part for sure.
Absolutely. Well, and I think that's maybe one of the last things we can talk about, because both of our careers started in public consultation, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the importance of public consultation for an elected official in speaking to and listening to your constituents. And that wasn't meant to be an undertone to our provincial government to listen to constituents. But what do you think about that on the municipal level?
Well, so I think it's easier in a community like size. for one thing. You know, when you run in a municipal election, you knock on every door.
Yeah.
And so you've really seen your community, and if you're trying to look at it through a different set of lenses, you get a real good handle on what's out there, who's succeeding, who's struggling, and what things need to be done. My next move then was to learn the business. When I was a public spokesman in the electricity world, I knew the business because I'd come up through the business, and I wanted to do the same as a municipality. You need to understand it. So we took apart our budget in its categories of, you know, the municipal accounting world,
Yeah.
and created some for our first public engagement foray around the budget. Created displays, said these are all the services that you receive in this category. Stop saying all you get is garbage pickup and snow removal. That's horse hockey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you get a whole bunch of, you might not know who's delivering it. Well, guess what? It's us, you know. And then we did, here's how much it costs, brings in some revenue, net cost to taxation is this much, divided by how many of us there are, there's this many people, whatever metrics you want. And then on the other side, we did, okay, here's where we think we're doing really, really well. And here's where we're struggling.
Mm-hmm.
What are we going to do about those things? Not sure yet. We'll let you know. So step 2 was then build that strategic plan.
Yeah.
So where do you want to go? What are your goals? How are you going to exploit your strengths and address those weaknesses? And the second year we did that consultation, now we could link a goal in the strat plan to those challenges. Say, okay, so last year we told you about these challenges. Here's how we're going to address them.
Nice.
So for me, I mean, I'll talk about what the plans are as long as you want. I love doing that. And so I keep legal size copies in my briefcase. And if somebody calls with a concern, I'll ask them, you know, do your neighbors feel the same? Well, sure they do. Well, put the coffee on, I'll come. And you spread it out on the dining room table and you go through the plan. And people are encouraged to know there is one, that there is a plan, you know, and so you build some supporters, but you also find out what's important to them, which services are, but that's where you build your potential board members. And, you know, there's a lot of people out there that care deeply about their community. And if you can show them where they are in your strategic plan, boy, Bob's your man.
Yeah, and I think there's too many municipalities out there that don't engage the public on their strategic plan. I mean, the amount of proposals I put out to do strategic planning where the scope of work doesn't include any public engagement, I always add it. I'm like, okay, here's an option. We highly recommend at minimum, a SWOT analysis from your residents to identify where they see the weaknesses and opportunities, right? But do more. I think that's a huge opportunity, and it's important.
It is, and I can't not engage. I just can't stop myself from engaging. But there's a big difference between public engagement and you're elected to do as we tell you.
Yes.
I will always do what I think is the right thing, and consequences be damned, quite frankly. And you have to be able to drown out the voices. Not everyone has all the context that they need to make good decisions. And
correct.
Erica, I've never suffered fools well, and that is not improving as I age. So, you know, and if you're a natural born smart mouth, you got to be a little bit careful. So I'm willing to listen, but don't think that automatically means
it's going to happen.
Yeah, you know, you got to do. I can't not but engage, but you got to do what you believe is right. And let's be honest, not every good idea can be funded.
That's fair.
You know,
there's only
it
so
could
much
be a
money.
great idea. Yeah.
Well, and that's
when your priority list,
right?
when your priority list is this long,
Yeah.
You have to make some governing is choosing.
Absolutely. Well, because people want so much, but they're not necessarily willing to pay for it. So when you go back and say, yeah, absolutely, we can put in that brand new arena, but are you willing to see your taxes increase by this amount? And not just you, but you and all of your neighbors and the young new family down the street that maybe is just scraping by, or the elderly couple down the street, they all have to pay those taxes. And so maybe it's not an arena, maybe it's a soccer pitch, maybe it's a ballet studio, whatever that is, right? It has to make sense for the community, and it has to be more than just one small group.
Yeah.
Pushes it forward, right?
But my observation is municipalities, if they work at it, are really poised to deliver services efficiently.
Yeah.
If you look at our FCSS group here, we've got a fantastic director, just a phenomenal group of volunteers. There is no cheaper way to deliver services to citizens in need than that way. It just dollar for dollar, there's just no better way than that. So I think municipalities are uniquely positioned to deliver the services that are important to people well and efficiently.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome, Ralph. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time because I'm sure you have a giant priority list of things that you need to do. I see you're in your beautiful music room at home, and your wife's probably thinking, get out, go. Remember we talked about seeing other people?
Yeah, well, we've done what everybody else did. We did the home renos and all that kind of stuff. So certainly looking forward to the warmer weather and being able to get outside, and maybe that will help everyone across the globe, across the world.
I think so.
Yeah,
right? Get outside, those outside gatherings and meeting again. And we just, we just had Ben's birthday party on the weekend. And we invited just his classmates, and we said, meet at the playground. Everyone wear your masks. This is no different than recess. We are not doing food. We're not doing here, you each get your juice box, go open it on your own, right? And it was a very proper socially distanced, but everyone was so excited and so they were just so thankful to have an opportunity to get together and we did all the proper protocols, but people are missing that so much.
It's funny how the kids are far more adaptable to the protocols than the adults.
Oh yeah, I know. It's all the kids, no problem. They put their masks on. My kids, as we're leaving, I always, the amount of times I forget my mask. So I reach in the glove box and pull out the dirty one that I haven't washed since the beginning of the pandemic. And my kids are they know exactly where their dirty masks go. They know where the clean ones are. They put it on before they leave, and they have their favorite ones. They don't care. They just want to be together.
Yeah. We did a big family skiing day and watched the grandchildren ski. Actually, Papa came out of retirement and got some skis off of Kijiji, and I just enjoyed the heck of it. But the kids have no problem dealing with the restrictions and respecting it. I was very impressed with them, and they were so thirsty to see each other. They really were.
Yeah, they are. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ralph. I really, really appreciate you taking the time with me. And I really do hope that we get to have that big glass of wine on the lawyer's dime here soon.
Okay. Well, love to you and Corey and the family. And thanks for the opportunity.
Take care, Ralph.